Hey all, we're halfway through the bye week, and the 2 days can feel like an eternity when there's no hockey you're interested in to watch. But right now we have a shocking amount to talk about for a week where they've played 2 games. So let's go. The first game was in Buffalo versus the Sabres, and it was bad. 1-3 loss, and I watched the highlight video for this one, and unless you're counting Bob, the only Jackets highlight came in at the end of the second. Bob played pretty well. The first goal was a rebound. The second was an unlucky break where Bob got stuck behind the net and Jones thought his guy was covered. The Sabres basically had an empty net there. And then the third goal was an actual empty net goal. The Jackets beat Buffalo in shots on goal, shooting 45 towards the net. So it seems they were attempting something, if not anything from high danger zones or anything that really ended up mattering too much. The only real highlight of this game was Panarin's power play goal, which was exciting not only because it's Panarin, but also because it's a power play goal. The next game was the next night. It was against Vancouver. I'm not even sure if the Jackets' defense came onto the ice for the second period. The Jackets lost 2-5. The game started with a power play goal from Jones, and then the Canucks scored 4 times in the second. 2 power play goals. Brendan Gaunch literally broke his stick and still got a goal. The boys looked like a team that had played 2 back-to-backs in 6 days. The Jackets tie the Canucks for 12 shots on goal during the second, which is shocking to me, honestly, and only 29 shots on goal all game. Bob looked tired, and I know that Tortorella doesn't believe in the whole don't play your goalie 2 nights in a row thing, but I don't know, maybe our goalie might be a little bit fatigued after a week of back-to-backs. Of course, there's also the argument that Bob's break in December only seemed to make things worse for him, so not playing him and then going to the bye week could have hurt in the long run. But it's an 82-game season. Korpisalo hasn't played NHL hockey since December, and, you know, Tortorella said at the beginning of the year that he'd be getting about 3 starts a month. But he's keeping sharp in Cleveland, but I think we could, manage to start him every now and then. Bob can't play the whole game. February's a very, very packed month for the Jackets with a lot of divisional matchups, and I don't think that we can afford a burned-out Bob this early in the season. Regardless, the Jackets didn't play a good game and dragged themselves into the bye week. But before we get into other news that's coming out this week, there are some fun facts. Both the Sabres and the Canucks ended 5-game losing streaks versus Columbus this week. So that's something, I guess. Anyway, a shocking amount happened in the last, 3 days? But first things first, All-Star rosters are out, and as expected, people are angry at the NHL. The only Jacket going to the games, bar someone else dropping out, is Seth Jones. Tortorella has said, and continues to say since the announcement, that Jones is underrated and should be in the Norris conversations. I have to say that it's easy to forget about Seth when we have our wonder kid defenseman scoring goals like it's nobody's business. But Jonesy is a mature two-way defenseman. He's second in points on the team with 30 and 6 in goals with 8. I personally think that Bob not being chosen again was a snub, especially when you compare his stats to Lundqvist and Holtby's, and was shocked to see that on many of the expert polls before the rosters came out, they didn't have leading defenseman scorer Zach Werenski on there, and I hope he was at least mentioned in talks while creating the roster. I think Bread could have gotten a nod, and I think the only Penguin that should have been there was Phil Kessel. I, like everyone else who watches hockey, have a lot of opinions on All-Star rosters and how they're picked. But all All-Star news was really blown away, I think, when Aaron Portzline tweeted at midnight on Saturday that Jack Johnson had requested a trade. I'm not gonna lie, I breathed a sigh of relief upon reading this, and then I read the article and felt bad. The story of Jack Johnson being screwed over by his parents is long and incredibly tragic, and it's led him to this situation. A 30-year-old and in need of a good long-term contract. He wants to be traded not because he doesn't like Columbus or anything, but because he literally needs more ice time to show himself off so that he can try and get the money that he wants. It's obvious here in Columbus that we have enough better D-men that giving Johnson, who's been underperforming compared to last year, more ice time doesn't really make any sense for us. but I genuinely wish him the best and hope that he can get a deal that makes sense for him and for us. Trade deadline is March 3rd this year, so I'd say we're officially in hockey's silly season, the time of the year where everyone wants everyone to be traded for ridiculous things. Also, I feel like this deserves a mention. Steve Dangle made a video today talking about where Dutch Johnson could go, and he mentioned Edmonton, because Johnson plays a lot of penalty minutes, and Edmonton has the worst penalty kill in the league. I think this is a great idea, and that the ideal situation for the Jackets would be a straight-up trade, Johnson for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, straight up. Other things, I somehow got this far in the video without even mentioning that Alexander Wenberg is back. He is no longer injured, he played in both the games, and he was noticeable. And I know that some people really would be upset about this because he was doing so well before the injury, and I really do hope that he gets back to his pre-injury level of play, especially because it took him so long to get started up this year. But he just came off of IR 2 games before a break. I'm okay with him being just unnoticeable, you know? Better that than bad. According to Mark Shegg, the Jackets have won 1 of their last 11 games in regulation. They've also had at least a point in 6 of those. It's not terrible. It's over 50%, I guess. I'd say it's still not super ideal. Montreal is apparently interested in Pierre-Luc Dubois. To be a 19-year-old for a second, I'd say to them that they need to get in line. But, for real, Pierre-Luc Dubois is untouchable unless the other team is offering us something completely ridiculous, like Austin Matthews or like Clayton Keller. He's a first-year center, he's already our 1C, and he has plenty of ways to go in development. We need more centers, and I'm sure that some of us want the Jackets front office to do something, but I think we're good where Montreal is concerned. The Jackets power play is back up at 30th in the league at 13.5%. Which, you know, it's good to not be totally the last, right? And in Metro Watch, the Caps are still at the top with 59 points. Against all odds, the Jackets are still in second place with 53 points. The Devils, however, are in third with 52 points in 4 less games than the Jackets. So, we'll see how that goes. The other 2 playoff spots go to the Penguins with 51 points and the Rangers with 49. The Metro gap has finally moved into the double digits with 11 points between the Caps and Carolina, Philadelphia, and the Islanders, who are all tied for last place in the Metro. It's still a terrible division to be in, but that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like if you liked this. Click subscribe if you loved it. I'm Lydia. This is Cannon Fire, and January's almost done. Let's hope the Jackets can come back from break ready for February.